in a different time zone, and I have really appreciate your time that you agreed to have this some kind of not that podcast, some personal things and also professional things which I trying to share with the different team, and also got amazing feedback from different people saying that it's pretty new and very unique things which are happening, right? So first of all, I want to say thanks for your time. And I just fast, but want to share about the how this session we got started. We start with some things which are professional, non-professional things like about the hobbies, what you do, what you do during vacation time, with anything which you do. Second part, we talk about the community, right? And I why I selected in the things, because the thing which you are doing for the community from LinkedIn articles and newsletters is something which is spellbound, right? So I was very I'm one of the subscribers for that. So maybe you can share something that how you started with this newsletter, what triggered you, and what actually your motive for that, and maybe share something about some architecture about Copilot Studio or anything which is, so you can share some articles for that, so people also get benefited from those particular sessions which I'm doing, right? So okay, are you okay with that now?
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I can share a few things. So I live in Toronto. So I most of the time I work from home, because of a lot of commitments. I have a small family. I have a small kid, 5 years old. He just started school. So I needed, to pick him up, pick up some drops. We always have so much issue with the working parents here. So because there's nobody to pick them up middle of the day and drop at home, and then he's only 5, so he cannot stay at home by himself. So managing all the things, I think about a year ago, almost a little more than a year ago, is when I came back to LinkedIn. I was very active for many, many years
Yes.
in the community, and that was more like 10 years ago. And I was working in downtown, so it was a very a happening crowd. So I used to just join anyone in their sales pitch. I got a lot of experience working literally from CEO's office. I was once sitting in there's a big construction company here, so I did some migrations for them like 8 9 years ago, and I was sitting at CEO's seat in his office. So
Yeah.
people would come and would get surprised and go. I was doing some work on his computer and basically teaching him how to use OneDrive. So I got a lot of experiences making very key people when I was working in that area, and I was an MVP for 7 years. So, and at that time, I was not married. I didn't had any commitment. So my 100% was into this community. So then I got married, but my husband was also not here. He was in US. I was in Canada. I moved to Canada from US, and he remained there for many years. So we were back and forth. So I had a lot of time at that time. So I wanted to get a grasp of how the community works, how the actual technology people sell it. I did all the work, I think, from consulting to pre-sales. I was working primarily for bigger banks here. I like to work for a bigger organization, enterprise organizations. That's where I mostly excel. For small business, I give them, a very usually I just give them the consulting for the pieces where it can save them money. So, always have to, I always say, you don't have always have to reach out and enable everything and just generate big bills just to show that you adopted the new technology. There are very simpler ways to do that. So for mid-size and small companies, I usually take that approach, and I've done many. Like I would consider, I know like Allstate, Sun Life, they're very big brands,
Mm.
but their technology side is probably smaller in terms of people who are very heavy technology enterprises. which are secure, financial secure technology, they implement way too much in terms of technology than these companies. So I've worked on both the sides, and the approach for both the sides is very different. So I work primarily for government and banks. So they are all financially restricted environments. So the pitching, the selling of technology, and always talking about the security, the guardrails, and who takes the ownership and responsibility. And if you say something like strategically, if you build a strategy to present, you have to have be ready for 300 questions right on the spot. So that's how like a consulting work works. And I got a very good experience in my initial years. So that's why I always say, when people are young, they should be going out and taking a risk. It's okay to fail at something and then try again and learn it, because that's learning is going to help you out later on,
Mm.
to build your asset to it. So I got a lot of experience. Then COVID happened. I had a kid in the COVID peak of COVID. So I think that was horrible, from having a kid alone with
Yeah.
nobody coming in and out of country at all. So was very difficult. It was just me and the child, a little child. That's all. Only two
Wow.
people. So
Okay.
it was such an experience I never had. It's sitting in
Yeah.
front of computer and then almost change the roles. So it took few years. Then eventually my parents came back, and they were out of the country. Then eventually they came back. The help came back, and but it took few years. So I was still working, but the community contribution kind of dropped from me. But about 2 years ago in 2024, I got a project. I got a chance to work on a project where I got exposure to Copilot, and the Copilot was came in 2023, Chat GPT and all, and I switched to Copilot as an enterprise product in 24. So that's where I did some demos, and I got a lot of interest into this. So I started studying, reading, and 25 is where I had few months between my contracts. So I was pitching for the new one, going to start. But that's when I decided that I think I won't need to go to this path now. Leaving, I was a SharePoint expertise, like I had SharePoint expertise, but SharePoint Power Platform all combined, delivering those projects and consultation around them. But going to Copilot and looking at the scope of AI, I figured out then this will probably encapsulate everything what we have worked for. So that is enterprise products and all, and eventually they'll all be, AI-fied. We call it. You need to AI them, or there are different terms we use in the company,
Yes.
that
Yes.
eventually, this thing is not going to work this way. We'll do some AI on it. So everything I think eventually is going to incorporate with AI, into AI, or using in some way. So that's when I made a decision that I will 100% go as a AI consultant. And because the background is Microsoft technology, so I wanted to remain into the same area. So that's when I started. I don't know if there is a designation or like not, but in my company it is. So I became a co-pilot engineer. So with consultancy and strategy based on Copilot specifically, because I have that background. So that's when I also did a lot of community work last year. I started with some presentations. I was a part of a boot camp long time ago, maybe early 2025. And I think that's when I got to know that people know very little about the strategy and how the implementation is being done behind the scenes in an enterprise. So I always talk about, when I go, I always talk about a larger enterprise from perspective. Um, for the smaller companies, I would always just give them a demo. There's two smaller companies I was consulting with them. They are in the other side, BC. So the same way, for them, they want to adopt the technology because they want to
Yep.
show it on their paper. For an enterprise, there will be 300 other teams that I need to convince and take approvals of. So things are very different in both the environments. I worked in both. As I said, like I was sitting in the CEO seat and nobody would care, and they would come and they say, "Is she the CEO now?" No, no. So I was also
Yeah.
joking, and my CEO is also joking and said she's the boss. I don't know. So it was it's a billion-dollar company, but they have a different mindset they go by. So there's a construction company. For them, they just wanted to move everybody to OneDrive. That's all. They have personal pictures on their machines I've never seen, so from over 10 years, and everybody wanted to just preserve those personal pictures. So
Mm.
there's different mindsets clients come by. You have to prepare for both. In meanwhile, yeah, in last 5 6 years, my son is 5 now, so things have changed drastically for me. It's more focus on drop-offs, pick-offs, classes, everything we just in that. So as I say, like half of my things in the car and half of the things in the house. So there's a car is very big part, and I have a huge car, and I have everything there. My chargers, laptop, I have an extra everything. I mean, you can find everything in my car, including a vacuum cleaner that is in the
Oh,
car.
okay.
So I was
Yeah.
telling somebody, I said, "Do you want anything? You name it. It is in the car." So it's
Oh God.
it's in
Yeah.
the car boots, and he said vacuum cleaner. I said, "Oh, it's right there. See." So I have a tiny vacuum cleaner also in the car. A lot of people carry. So I live almost in the car between drop-offs and daycares and all of them running all the day, and my son's classes. And I just stay at home rest of the time online. I'm probably online maybe, yeah, I don't know, 14, 15 hours, maybe more than that hours. And I, that's when I thought to moving into this new area of Copilot. A lot of knowledge needs to be shared, because I used to get even my first newsletter when I started last year in July. I just published the first one with the diagrams, and I already had more than 10 messages telling me, "Can you teach us about this? And what is this about? I want to move in this. Do you do machine learning on that? And
Mm.
do you have to be certified on that?" So from questions from that, and then the questions exploded. I average get about 50 messages a day. A lot of them are promotions for their new AI products, and a lot of them asking for training. So I haven't started doing any trainings yet because I was trying to squeeze some time in between my project work. And now I work for a big consulting firm, not consulting firm, through a consulting firm. I work for a very big client here. So it's a financial client. So there's a lot of responsibility. I work as a lead there. For leading the project, but my title, I keep it as a co-pilot engineer, because I like on the engineer and technical side to be on that. Um, but the things are good. I think the times have changed, so everybody needs to move, and no complaints there. I mean, I know people, maybe everybody needs to change a little bit their mindset.
Yeah.
Technology changes always, and it's not in the IT profession. If you go to medical profession, same thing. They keep on reading and learning about the new things that come in, new drugs and new treatments, and they have to always be updated. I think somebody, a doctor, told me that they half of the time in the weekends they just read the journals, and they
Mm.
have to discuss it next day. It's not like somebody cannot do that. So they are as much as updated as we have to be.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the AI race is too fast, which
It's
we
too.
have.
Yeah. It's too fast. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a extremely fast pace. We all say that
Yeah.
even people like us who were in a very active technology area, so we are always communicating with the product teams. We are always sending them emails that this is not right. Maybe when are you going to release this feature? Even somebody, like I was talking to someone here, my old community members, and then I said, even we guys, they were saying they are all failing to catch up, because, and even sometimes it surprises even the companies like Microsoft or even Gemini. So I've communicated with their team on something, their new API, and they had no communication, no documentation about that at that time. So they just released it. And they said there is a page where all the documentation, but that section was probably not updated. So
Updated.
some
Yeah. That's
somebody put
true.
it in draft and nobody published it. So everybody is just on the rush of releasing new things because they want to be ahead of AI race. And then the consultants like us who we actually work on this, that we are the ones who know this in and out. That's why we consult with our clients and tell them
Correct.
that this is what you should be doing and not doing, and this is how this new technology works, may be helpful for you. And if we are not updated to that level, so what consulting we will do to the client? So it's
That's true.
a crazy time at this time in terms of catching up to what is being released in AI,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
everybody's feeling that.
Yeah.
um
I have two questions for you. I have bookmarked your blog many years back about SharePoint, and you updated a lot of SharePoint articles and had like this is the woman I had to look forward. So I was into on-premises, right? SharePoint on-premises, 2007, 2013. Oh my God, old time, these things.
yeah.
So I look forward to your articles and your questions and the things. You are very active in community that time, right? And have a I don't know, it's called the Microsoft articles. I don't know what's that, but you contribute in that. So it's pretty good in that. I was then you just vanished and then you came back.
Mm.
So I was so happy that okay, a person I knew for many years from the technical side has come back and then she's giving. My question for you is that how you manage your time with the AI and the other stuff with the 5 years old kid and it must be difficult, right? I mean, I know it's difficult, but how are you managing? Because you're doing a newsletter article, consulting work, and also managing three things. How you manage it?
It is hard. It's hard to find time. So, in the evening, we usually have allotments. We have a community here, a local
Mm,
community. So, we do their volunteer work for events.
mm,
I took that about maybe 2 years ago. So, my son loved it. So, he wears a badge also with me as a volunteer, and we get the vests, and then we do a lot of stuff there. So, I spend my rest of the time there, and that takes me away from screens, so I'm very happy about
yeah,
that. I mean, there is because the work is so much to manage those events, like community events, charity events. So the work is so much that you can't even take out your phone. So it's hardly only people contact you like, what's your phone number, then you take out the phone. And I love that. That's the time when I realized that this is I think everybody should take some time away for completely from screens. And it is hard to do it. If I tell you no touch it, then you will touch it.
yeah,
So, but there also we also do a lot of physical work, actively
yeah,
running around, picking up things, keeping things. So that we have started, and we go there almost every day to check in if there is a work. So in the evening, usually when I complete my work, it's a whole day of sitting and meetings and all. I have a calendar where I keep on booking the time, like from 1 hour I will do this, maybe another hour I'll do the research, and I have my list keeps on growing. But usually after 5 or 6ish, when I turn off the laptop, we go there so I can take, like, a mental break. Um,
mhm,
from all of the things, we go and check in there, and then if it's nothing there, then we do our dinner walks and all. And I usually wait for my son to sleep. And after he sleeps, sometimes in between also, or he's good, he's, had the dinner and everything. And then after he sleeps, then I work actually on the new things, because that's the only time we say that's the only time you work, or the
yeah,
weekends. So, but I usually only work at nights. So
yes,
after
yeah,
9 p.m., after everybody slept. So then I take few hours. But for things, I usually plan a lot. I have so many drafts, maybe about 25 drafts of newsletters right now. So some articles that I got interest in, I want to investigate further, build on it, and give a solution. And then the others are, something I have to read about more. But I pick and choose very carefully, because I don't want to just put a redundant information there, that there is a new feature, this is this, it's already on MS Learn. So I figured out I can just do a post for that, for an update,
mm,
if somebody has
yeah,
missed something.
Yeah.
somebody was waiting on something, because this algorithms are random, right? So you don't see everything. Some I usually see, if I'm interested in somebody's posts, maybe I'll see that for 2 3 days, and then if I start liking something else, I'll see that as a priority. But
Hmm.
so I can do those as posts, but for my newsletter, I'm very particular and very picky. I only do things that are not published properly. So they have Microsoft Learn, or they have other resources, but a solution needs to be built end to end for that, so somebody can follow and say, okay, this is the target that we're building. And for example, fine tuning, so we want to do fine tuning on our Copilot Studio, and this is one way to do it, and this is how you do it. You provision a semantic model, you can have a dataverse table, and these are how the prerequisites is. So I try to do that. Earlier I was writing it, somebody from the community told me that, skip this writing that much, just make a video. And I like to make silent videos. I don't do this much chatting in those videos. I don't think people need to listen to me. You enable the data words, I can just show that in the screen and say, this is the one thing you enable, that's a checkbox, that
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't do the communication videos, I just do the videos that you can follow, like step one,
Yeah.
step two, step three.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but I figured out at the end the videos are also same work, because the editing goes in, you have to zoom in,
More
and
effort required. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same work. I used to do screenshots and all of that. I felt like it's the same work. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
But videos take less space on LinkedIn page. So I used to go over the space for the newsletter. So I used to squeeze, cut off things. There is a space. You can only write a huge article, and then at one time it will not let you add more
Allow. Yeah.
screenshots. Yeah,
Yeah.
so video helps in that part. And I have got a very good feedback from my friends around here, saying that I think videos are very good. So short, to the point, that videos, and those are very good. We can at least share them with the internally with their teams.
Sure.
So
Sure.
mhm.
Yeah. One. Yeah. You are on the point because mm, I was a consulting firm, and then I also do helping the customers from customized solutions from Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI. And after 2 3 months, the UI changed, and then my documentation all become outdated, right?
Yeah,
And then I start referring to the Microsoft articles after that, because
yeah,
it's better to go to the latest documents because the UI
yeah,
keep changing and the once you go to left navigation, good now it's go to the right navigation, and my document become it took a lot of effort to make documentations for the
mhm,
customers, right? So yeah, I totally understand and feel it at times. Yeah.
mhm.
uh, Isha, one thing I want to ask you, right? What are the most challenging thing you have done in the Copilot Studio for a customer and you have resolved it? And then in terms of the maybe you have covered in the newsletter something you learned and then maybe you can share with in your maybe in LinkedIn or something video I've shared so they can just good for community for the my newsletter, something which is good for the community. Maybe you can share
I think
something on that.
Yeah, I think architectures are the one.
Mm,
So I was not an architect. I was more like a very hands-on person. So I've done
mm,
a lot of development and scripts also, and actual from SPFX web parts to Power Apps, all of them back in the day. But I w with a hands-on person from an architecture point of view, you have to look at the models very differently. From
yeah,
every protocol needs to be mapped, and huge architecture diagrams needs to be built and all. So I think investigating those internal processes, and the recent example is I was working with to build an architecture for Claude in Microsoft 365. So how Claude and Anthropic interacts with this, and I had very limited information from Microsoft, just few articles, and they talk about it's a sub processor, it goes and comes back. But investigating that, I figured out there are some models which have data retention on their side, which they said no data is retention, but there are exceptions. So, and those exceptions are hard to turn off. and because they show up in the default menu, the models just show up. So
mm,
anything like that can happen. So I started digging deep into it, started digging deep. It went very, very far, like how they communicate between Microsoft subprocessor and a Microsoft tenant. So I think I was digging very badly. All we call it like it's a rabbit hole, but still I needed to find an end to that. So product teams, Microsoft teams, even the Claude's head, I contacted everybody. So trying to do that. So I think that gave a very good experience, because we usually from the techie side we just consume it and say,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is how it works.
yeah,
But from the behind the scenes sides, because my teams, from where I work right now, it's a very restrictive environment.
yeah,
So my job is to convince everyone, get their approvals before we go ahead with anything. So convincing security without me even knowing how the behind the scenes work, and if I cannot answer their questions, they will not be confident. So I think security is always the challenge, and this was the challenge with my previous. I work for a federal government. When I had a baby, I was back to work within 3 weeks. So
mm,
in 3 weeks, I got a federal government contract. So at that time, so there also the challenge was only not about the technology. They were happy to adopt it. It's just that they would always say, convince the security guys. So it was hard to convince them. And I think for very simple technologies, there was something I was trying to do. And after a year of effort, it was rejected. It was not approved by security because the data was going beyond Canadian data centers. So it
data
was not
centers, yeah,
inside.
yeah,
So even after the legal contracts, it was completely, scrapped. So these are the challenges they come in, but they are in front challenges. But I think sometimes we have challenges that behind the scenes we don't know, like
yeah, yeah,
responsible AI. I did a lot of investigation on that. So behind the scenes, what are the actual actions that are being tracked by responsible AI? Not the seven responsible AI commitments, but behind the scenes,
uh,
what all are there? There are some exceptions, and why are these exceptions? So I think I went the rabbit hole for that, but I didn't get much answers to this.
mm,
Um,
mm,
but building architectures was, I think, was a great experience. And
yeah,
I'm recently doing one. It's just taking a lot of time, but these are going to be downloadable architectures. Now I'm going downloadable, so you can download it. You can open it in softwaredraw.io.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a free subscription.
yeah,
You can open it, and you can just modify it according to whatever architecture your company is. But these will be completely for autonomous agents. All the architectures, all the authentication protocols that you can follow, have to follow different scenarios in the company for
mm,
autonomous agents specifically to make them, secure. It depends upon how much money you want to spend. If you have Agent 365, you're using agent users, agentic, different agentic users coming in and interacting with different systems. So for that reasons, there is different authentication protocols following the ALM strategies in the company. So there's a lot of things that I'm building, but I think internal architectures for agentic AI in general was a big challenge, because it's kind of a black box from us.
yeah.
We just know how it works. We just know
I,
OpenAI feeds into Copilot. That's it. We know Claude not came in. Now it feeds into Copilot. But how
mm,
behind the scene is this feeding into
behind
the
the scenes, yeah.
Copilot? Yeah.
I think most having showing to the IT team is easy, but when you do the management level, C level, and the security team, it's much harder to convince them. That is I've seen in my experience as well, right? Yeah, that is something which uh, uh can you show one of the newsletter article which you get maximum views and people just love that article and reshare your article? Anyone which you
Yeah, I think there are many, but I think the one was the one with the highest number of views is the Power Apps, converting a model app Power App into a declarative agent, and then calling that from a Copilot Studio agent. So basically, Copilot Studio workflow, you can directly with natural language talk to your Power App.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
so that was the one I did. But the behind the scenes, you convert it into a declarative agent first, and then declarative agent is called by your Copilot Studio agent within the flow.
Within
So
the flow. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so I think
Yeah.
somebody I gave an example that if you have a old enterprise app running and it has a category of something like groups, how many groups are there and stuff,
Mm.
in the company, like a category in the column, and then that category you can, while your Copilot Studio is running, you can ask the user, do you want to see the upgraded categories in the enterprise? So you can call that app, and in natural language you can extract that columns data, whatever the current state is, and then just give the options to the user. So you can use the data warehouse table behind it also, but it is in the app itself you can also do how many recently added things. So app querying an app is different than the data burst table. So querying a data burst table is fine, somewhere the column will be stored, that is fine. But querying an app in a natural language is, how many people have just added records to this category, or when was this category added, maybe. So
Added. Yeah.
definitions for that. So I think that was the most viewed, but I think most popular one, which people from, I don't know, all over the country, there are people sending me screenshots, is the Gemini one. It's the
Okay.
integration of Gemini model into Copilot Studio, and there is a Swagger file for that. You can download it and you use it as a REST API tool. So I think that was downloaded hundreds of thousands of times. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
going to
that's
put that in GitHub because I think it is not available anywhere. How to use Gemini model in as a API
yeah,
and
yeah,
call it
yeah, yeah,
anywhere.
yeah,
So a lot of
yeah,
other people also downloaded, not newsletter ones, but a lot of other people, like people finding solutions, building projects. So
yeah,
how to call Gemini through like a Swagger file, provision an API and call an API. So so they download that file a lot, Swagger file, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I think that the thing is that it's a Microsoft documentation is obviously it's good, but the data and the things they share is uh, I will say difficult to comprehend what the normal end users are looking forward, right? So I used to, when I was a partner in Singapore, I used to make some diagrams, easy to visualize, because I have many customers asking that Power Apps have a different licensing model, or Power Automate have different thing and all. And if you go and search in the documentation, is around 187, around 100 pages. It's difficult to comprehend that one. So I make some diagrams, and then somebody from I have a session with him next week, about can you upload into GitHub, and then I shared those things into, and it was around 187 times it was downloaded. Then I didn't count because it's so many people are commenting that like it's really good. So I think when you put these kind of community things in the GitHub, right, people really appreciate, and they can reuse and share with their own end users
Yeah.
cases. So users, thanks,
Yeah.
thanks for that. Yeah.
I
Uh,
have a repository. Actually, I didn't make it last year in the holiday season. My son was, I was showing him what the AI is and
yeah,
how I
yeah,
use
yeah,
especially the Gemini. I use Gemini Studio for images.
yeah.
So I was showing him, then he told, then I was testing Cloud Code last year. And then we made a game, Pac-Man. I showed
Hmm.
him that this is what we used to play when I was a kid, and that's the game in React. Actually, we built it, we played it a lot, and then I uploaded that into the GitHub. So that was my repository. First time I bought the GitHub license,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I did a actual upload on that. I think I'm going to use the same repository because I was talking to somebody, another MVP, and he recommended that because I have individual resources coming from my OneDrive, and there are many. I have over 100 resources from my OneDrive. Some are diagrams, like architecture diagrams to download. Some are Excel sheets, which you can fill up as a checklist for your deployment. I did that one. So there are many things like that. The tools, Swagger files, you just download it. You can add it as a tool in your Copilot Studio directly. Just that file, upload it, and give a key, and it should be working. So somebody recommended that I have that all in GitHub. That is
Yeah.
the proper way to do, because that is trackable then eventually.
Yeah.
Because OneDrive's, you can't track how many downloads are there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
yeah. Uh,
I think I'm going to build on that. I think going forward, probably more
uh,
GitHub stuff.
will you make videos also as not a training, but something which is people will enjoy and see the things and do the redo in their environments? I have a plan to do some trainings like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I not elaborated videos. I
Yeah,
think the short videos are more. I think people consume
more
these
apt.
days,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a plan. So initially I had it. I was thinking how to do it. So I drafted now a plan, but it will be like more of short videos giving tips and tricks to the community, but not like something is released here, go look
Nah,
here. Not like
yeah,
that. I don't want to
yeah,
spread the information which is already there in LinkedIn, published
yeah.
100 times by and reposted by everyone. I don't like to use I don't like to post the things which are already there.
Already there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would rather do the things that is actual implementation. So somebody solved a problem doing that.
Mm,
So
mm,
I have many, like in my project right now, we rolled out a huge implementation for Copilot Studio, probably one of the largest here in this country. Over 80,000, we have citizen developers working on Copilot Studio. So every day I see scenarios that you can't even imagine of. Like I want to call Power Automate. I want to at this point I want to do this, and somebody is coming with an Excel sheet with 10,000 use cases, and they want to implement everything that they thought with other apps now in Copilot Studio. So there's different scenarios and different clients also. There was one client who was doing completely Fabric, and now they got interest in Copilot because somebody was reading in their company in Copilot.
mm,
So now they
mm.
want to integrate all the data, all the Fabric into Copilot as a UI. So that was a client I was consulting with. But in all sense, when I see this big implementations, we do a lot of different strategies. That's what I'm going to put in something. I think I haven't found out even on any article or Microsoft sites. Is working, making sure that autonomous agents or autonomy or AI, how to control it in a
Mm,
manner that
mm.
you always have eyes on what your autonomous agent is doing. So things like that, which are actual implementation that we did and the results of it. So those tips that somebody might be missing, that this can happen, what we can do this way. Oh my God, this was probably my issue too, and we
Yeah,
left the thing because of this, and this could have worked out this way. So those important hands-on actually implemented things, that's what I want to put out. So
yeah.
only those, and I want to use the short video. I cannot sit for like 1 hour, 2 hour.
Videos. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, unless something is very, very useful, then I would just split it into like three videos. That this is how you set it up, and this is the result of it, and let's go through the configuration of it. I usually follow the same pattern in my newsletter. So what's the prerequisites? If it's simple ones, that's fine. If a little bit more walkthrough they needed, then I make a prerequisite video, then the implementation video, and the last one is usually what the output is. And
yeah.
usually on my when I post things, I schedule it, so it goes next day. I usually schedule it a day before writing everything. So when it goes, it's usually the output, that this is what we are
Mm,
building, and then
yeah, yeah,
inside you will have walkthroughs and different videos to follow.
yeah,
um,
yeah,
so I'm going to do that because I think I have a lot of interest in that, and so many tips even I have, which I know, which were built with a lot of effort, lot of thinking, lot of controls. And maybe people will get ideas from that and say, oh my God, I think we should have done that too, that way.
Better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all related to Copilot and all related to the current implementation, because I usually focus on current, a lot of current things which are coming up. Like
Okay.
I
Okay.
watch a roadmap a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I have one last question before I ask you anything. Right? Um, Now you have seen that the market worldwide is pretty turbulent when it comes to the jobs and other stuff, and more into the AI jobs are moved as a auto. I mean, you mentioned about autonomous jobs, everything. I've been thinking people are doing good things and all. Um, how you see market in next 1 year? I can't give 5 years, just 1 year. How you see the market? Uh, how the people who are just learning AI and want to upgrade themselves, and the market is quite brutal at this point of time. How you position them, the people who want just learning AI and want to shift to the AI fields. Like we are SharePoint people, right? People who want to maybe Google, maybe the ADK and other things they have. How they can actually approach from the beginner to the getting a proper job kind of thing. So at least job is they have safe jobs, something.
So I get this question a lot, a lot.
Yeah,
I have messages filled up my inbox saying, "Can you teach me? I also want to do this. What you're doing? I want to move to Copilot. I used to read your blogs. I met you some time back from SharePoint conference, and you're doing great things. I read everything, but can you give me some training? So this one, because I want to move into this area." And I
yeah,
recommend everybody, there is, see, we are all consultants, or we are all technology people. It doesn't matter if somebody's consultant, it does, somebody's working on the same technology, but your minds are still technology,
mm,
and your work is technology. And if you are working from past 10, 15 years, I'm sure you have already grasped a lot of things which are happening. So there's nobody like who's sitting on for 15 years not doing anything, but they're still, as a title, they're there. That's like impossible to happen. So if you already have the background, so treat this as an opportunity, that something new came in which can help your career go up. And even if, if the technology is removing, let's say, some resources, and because it's replacing some job functions, which we know it's going to happen. It's a fact. So if there is an autonomous agent running and doing building presentations, then why would they have four people in the communication team doing
yeah, yeah,
presentations? They might
yeah.
have two. So two people, and maybe one other person who can generate more AI or learn about AI. So do become that one person who knows about AI. Okay,
Mm,
so people will, I mean, even if you go out of business or out of your job offers, you still can be that one person they still need, like human
yeah.
in there, human in the loop, right? So
Group, yeah.
you, yeah, so that's not the human in the loop, that's the human implementer. The human has to be there to press the button, say, go AI, do something. Okay, the autonomy is there, but the autonomy cannot be to this extent that AI makes a decision that now I need to provision a new slide deck, and slide deck should have this without any requirement, and I am going to do it. So AI is not that smart. They still need human, and they still need human to configure the AI, to maintain AI, to make sure that it's not stepping out of the boundaries, like the security team, right? I
Mm,
always say preview came as a star, like in all the Copilot, every glory AI is getting, the preview is the one which is a shining star at the back, because they are the ones who now they are became a champion, and they are the ones who are saying and making the rules. If they say AI is dangerous, the companies go and just shut it off until they say no, it's good to go. So be the security guy for AI, be the enterprise data management with AI, AI administrator, I think, is one role, but you need to learn how to do skills and do the admin, like Dataverse admin. So make sure that you know the skills and do the AI administration for that. So there is a path. The path is going to be advanced. You have to put in time. You have to put in skills to learn that. But I know there is a challenge. A lot of people have said, but we are already working on a job morning to evening or
Mm.
delivering projects. So
Yeah,
there is no
yeah.
time, right? There is no
Mm.
time. It's very hard to make a switch. But that's for every career, right? If somebody has a part-time gig or they are doing something on the side, they find a time between their jobs. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
here it's a very common culture. In Canada, I have seen people doing something on the side always.
Mm.
Even if they have, other licenses taken, they on the weekends they sell properties. I've seen those. So if you have to build your time, just do the lunch, take at lunchtime 1 hour, take in the evenings, you leverage your weekends, but make sure that you make a switch, because I think eventually everybody is going to make a switch. Some are going to be branded as, we are the AI everything. I'm the AI admin, I'm the AI security guy, I'm the AI CIO, so information officer, I'm the AI implementer, AI architect, AI strategic. And I think in the entire line, I see two jobs which are probably the highest ones, which I think will have more value than all of them. One is the strategy builders. So they will turn the AI into the enterprise apps and data. So integration of AI into enterprise apps and data, because no company is going to leave behind their 10-year-old, 15-year-old apps and data, which is already
Yeah,
working.
yeah.
So there has to be an upgrade path. So the upgrade path is not going to be 100% complete path. There'll be in some kind of integration. So somebody who knows those systems and how to make them talk to AI, I think is a very lucrative career for next 4 5 years. Very, very. It will be like the deployed engineers, right? Forward deployed engineers are one of the most popular category right now. So if you can do a forward deployed certification, I think that will put you right on the top. But you need to have
Yeah.
15 years of experience for that, because you
Experience.
need to
Yeah.
know that. But even if you don't go for forward becoming a forward deploy resource, you can become at least an integration engineer, a solution
Mm.
designer, an architect on a higher level. So on a higher level, architect will probably build a diagram, which I
Mm.
do a lot, diagrams, but I also do under implementation of strategy, solution design, and technologies. So higher level architecture is fine, but when you design the solutions, it's you who's going to tell that these are the two share points, and there is one app, and there is one dataverse they're running there. This is the security model, and now this is where we are going to fit AI, and that's going to make sure that this app runs 20% smoother,
Accelerated.
saves 50% of times, and these many resources, and it takes away, these were the pain points which were by the company.
Yeah.
Troubleshooting, it removes the tickets for this enterprise data for this level. So I think somebody who can make that ROI strategy, that solution design, and that integration level, I think that person is going to be in a lot of demand. And I
Yeah.
see very good genius like power app developers. I know somebody, very, very dear friend of mine. She's a genius in power apps development. And power apps developers, the people who are doing power automate, SharePoint, I think it's very approachable for them. Their mindset is already at one level. They just
Yeah.
need to learn the second level, from the AI side, and start building and making sure that the AI replaces these things in their architecture. So I think those are the ones who can make a switch. Architects are the ones makes a switch. And if you want to do in a completely different career, I think purview and AI security is also one of the
Security.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah, so I can just summarize what you mentioned is that some jobs will be removed, but the newer jobs will be coming surely into the AI fields. Maybe as a forward engineer roles or architect role, which you mentioned, the integration person is important as well, right? So jobs will be there. You have to just make your mindset to be changed from one role to another role. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we call it we call here cold switch, right? Like go cold turkey. That means just remove your old credentials. I won't say, just forget everything what you learned. No, that's going to come in handy. Okay, that's the experience. Even today, when I talk to somebody in my company, and I tell them, no, in SharePoint, what we can do is we can structure this as a metadata and classification. So they come in and they say, no. In SharePoint, you don't do like that. So I have to walk them through. I said, no, listen, I have worked in SharePoint for 15 years. I just came into Copilot. So it's not like I don't know SharePoint. I know SharePoint in and out. So you ask me, I have led a SharePoint operations team for an entire bank for 7 years. So I know it's not like I've forgotten how that works. So, oh, you froze. Sorry, your screen froze.
Sorry, this is some disconnect happened in my end. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Sorry. So
So,
you mentioned about the person. You mentioned about
yeah,
the
yeah. So,
person about
I always
SharePoint.
say I haven't forgotten SharePoint. I know how it works. So it's
Yeah.
not like my
Yeah. Yeah.
designation right now is Copilot engineer. I also go by like
Yeah.
architect, Copilot, Copilot expert, whatever they want to call it. But it's not like I've forgotten how to structure a
Yeah.
SharePoint and make sure that the index is generated and Copilot can consume it. So you will not forget your technology. You will be expertise on that. The thing is, go cold turkey. That means just change your credentials today. Just if you are a Power App developer and somebody else, maybe today you are an AI integration expert. So
Mm.
just change it now and start working towards it. And a lot of people message me and say, how do I read this? What is the course? What is the material? Can you
Yeah.
forward me some links? And I have told everyone the same message. Probably I have it copied and pasted that I have a what when I started, I didn't do like this. I signed up for a Copilot Studio trial in 2024 and I bought a license after that, after trial, because the trial was ending. And I started following the articles and I started building the agents. And I saw different nodes. And then I went back and said, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do? And I completely started building on that. Course and articles, they will come by. And then I always refer to Microsoft's events page. It's called microsoft.events.com something. There is webinars, there is events happening every day. Okay, just open them up on your phone on the site. Just look at what they're presenting. Sometimes they show the setting and that gives you ideas. Then you go back and see what it is. Okay,
Mm.
you don't need a teacher sitting there and teaching you. You
Yeah. Yeah.
For people who are already in IT working from, I would say anybody working for over 3 years is good for going and following and signing up and start using it. If even if you see the bank screen, then go to YouTube, go to follow other things. Back 2024 there was nothing, so I was following just
Nothing.
Microsoft articles. So
Yeah. Yeah.
2025 is when things started changing. That's when I started building my agents. And
Mm.
that's when I started to learn. And there's a big chart I made in, I think maybe last year, August or September, that explains every node in the topic. So every node,
Mm.
what it does and what its properties are. That was also a very popular post I had put in with the chart.
Mm.
So make sure you know it because this is how you are learning it. Okay,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
go to
correct.
Facebook, I don't know, I don't do a lot of Facebook many years now, but if you go to, I don't know what apps are running right now, social media. I only do LinkedIn social media. I probably don't even have
Same.
Instagram. um so if you go to even LinkedIn, if you are trying to do something, you will explore that option. You will find the videos and say how to do this in LinkedIn and this,
Yeah.
right? So why not just sign up for a trial and
Right.
sit at the blank screen, look at it, and then start exploring one category than the other. It will take a lot of time. It will take nights for you because something is stuck, some error you are seeing, which you didn't anticipate. Find that error, resolve it, and build it. And once you build a solution, maybe do the GitHub, because that's the mistake I did, right? I put it in a personal, I didn't do GitHub. So maybe put it into GitHub. That's your personal repository. That's your work you are tracking. May
Mm.
give it few months. Meanwhile, start marketing yourself as an AI expert in that domain. For example, you're coming from Fabric, you're coming from Dataverse management. So you are an AI Dataverse admin, because now you have built several skills to manage Dataverse. You know how to use the CLI, PowerShell, different resource group. All of them you can do it, and you can do it with the skills. And on the side, start practicing it and start
Practicing.
marketing yourself. Eventually, maybe in 6 months, maybe in some time, you will land that role and
Yeah.
then move to that role. I think that's the path everybody needs to
Path to
follow at this area.
correct, correct. Yeah, I think that is something very important. I think I did a lot of webinars and a lot of people ask me questions, and I follow the same kind of guidelines which you have given as well, right? Because they think like they are feeling very uneasy about the job safety and security, right? So I have a similar kind of scenario where I shared with them about learning and then unlearn. They got a SharePoint that will be always there, but get started with something which is new in AI. Start with Copilot Studio, some very simple, not very complex. Start with a complex thing and then build something, because the courses will help you, but till you don't build, don't get the issues, error, you are not become expert in that. So the courses will help you, but you become proper person if you break it and then resolve it. Yeah, so that
I
is
mean,
something.
I'll give you two examples. So when I was doing
Yes.
Gemini integration, I
Yeah.
actually had it open in Visual Studio, GitHub Copilot, and they had Gemini as an option. Like LLM, you can use it and develop it. Then I got an idea, why not, if I'm syncing my studio agent to Visual Studio, the studio is not using Gemini, so why don't I put it? So I looked through internet, there was no Swagger, no nothing. Gemini had some documentation on how to use their Gemini APIs, that's all. It took me 3 weeks. I didn't do any work on social media. I did not do anything. All my mind was consumed by that. I would do all the work during the day. And during the day also it was running in my mind, even in evening, making cooking dinner. And then after that I would sit. And I would sit and try to resolve the issues. What's happening? What's happening? Why is it not working? 3 weeks I think it took me to build that entire thing. And after 3 weeks, I was writing on the side also, the article, the screenshots, and then something would mess up, it would not work, because it requires query parameters. And then the tool is, the studio is at 2.0 and the Swagger is at 3.0, and Gemini is running on 3.0 Swagger API configuration. So things like that. But I was so stuck in that, if I think about it, that was not my work. So I
Mm,
was not
mm,
working on that, that was not my job at all. And I didn't had any project from any client assigned to me. So it's something that I wanted to do, and I couldn't understand. I was seeing screen on my like errors on my screen, and I wanted to resolve it because I don't want to leave this, I want to resolve it. I had a path, it's just not working because of the errors. So it took me 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks, I did probably day and night. There was a guest in our house. Somebody came in, I think, and she was so surprised. She said, "You work in the evenings also? How? What kind of job this is?" Then I didn't explain much, but I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'm working on a project." But if you think about it, that's a personal project. But
Touch
I
wood
was
project.
so
Yeah.
happy once I achieved that, once it worked. And even today, it's the same agent. The agent is so stable since last year. Even today, if I go it and give it a prompt, it works. It's
Is
exactly
there
the
in
same.
the is
Yeah.
there in the newsletter which you have posted
Yeah, yeah,
there?
yeah. I did it, and I just did it with Samir. He's a Canadian
Oh,
MVP.
okay.
On August, I did a live session where I rebuilt it in front of
Oh, okay.
everybody. And that's on YouTube as well. So live session for 1 hour, I built it, the entire thing, and I showed it how to
Okay.
use it. And it's not about Gemini. You can just change that in that tiny section. You can change it to Grok API. You can change it to DeepSeek. You can
Any
do it to
other
any,
LLM?
and then you can use that, consume that LLM from your M365 inside your M365. So. Uh, so I think I wanted to do that, so I became very passionate about doing that, and that made me learn so much. I think I custom connectors to using the REST tools to different how the LLMs are working behind the scenes. They are still
Mm,
APIs, so calling them, I think so many different parts which came into my mind. And after that, I did integration with Sora, building videos from Sora right from within Microsoft 365. You can build your test cases using Cloud Code's. There is a tool called Test Analyzer that is inside Cloud Code. So I extracted that tool, and that was used into Copilot to generate test cases based on anything. Like I would give a snapshot of a flow, it would generate test cases for that. So
mm,
think so I saw that there was so many possibilities after that, and I wrote series of articles after that. Even I got a shout out from Microsoft. Somebody called me and said, this is amazing, where are you getting this from? I said, I built it. I'm not getting it from anywhere. And they were surprised. I said, how did you do this tool integration with Cloud Code inside a Cloud Code and brought it back into Copilot? So without the Claude came after when I did.
okay. Yeah.
So Microsoft did the integration with them after. I did it before through the API. So it all started with just that project that took me 3 weeks. But I was so passionate. After that, I was showing it to my kid, and even now he comes in and says, "Mama, can you build a robot doing packaging strawberries? He should be eating an ice cream with mango." Every time he comes in, I do it. And Gemini is very cheap. I don't know. People use it less. I think I pay about five to $11 a month, and I generate about 20 to 30 images like this. So, on the average, sometimes more architectures I go through, I visualize from Gemini, and then I build it in draw.io, or I have lucid charts, something like that. So, they do a very specific architectures with all the parameters like the architectures used in the models. Um, but the thing is, you have to plan something, and that should be project to satisfy you,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
for your knowledge, so your
Mm,
understanding. Like the pipeline, somebody was asking me, can you train me about how to create a dedicated pipeline for
mm,
maybe SharePoint data? So SharePoint data is index 12, and there are many options like, Azure AI search. You can leverage those are already there. But I told them that it's just a matter of starting it, set up for the trials, and start building it. Okay, think about, a project from your company. Is your manager is, on your head. The only difference here is, here you're working for yourself, so nobody is sitting there, but you want to resolve it, make it work. There is no deadline, so you can work 2 3 hours in the evening, at night, and once you will achieve that and build that pipeline, you'll learn so much by that time. You would have already learned. So follow that path. I don't know. Courses and all are good. I attend a lot of boot camps and trainings, and they give me a lot of ideas. They open up the ideas, but the real knowledge comes from the hands-on experience only.
hands-on. Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah,
is true. That hands-on is something which is you can't replace with any course. Yeah. Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty late. I mean, late for your lunch, whatever it is. I want to say big thanks for you. I know it's pretty different. What is temperature there right now? I know
See, it's
we have
good.
a lot of friends there.
Yeah, no, it's summers right now, so we're
Summers.
good. I
Okay,
think
okay,
yeah, should be somewhere 28 to 30 degrees outdoor.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I had a lot of friends who are in Toronto, Ontario. It's pretty cold, very cold
Oh
in
yeah,
some
winters are very,
cold
very cold.
time.
Yeah.
Winter colds.
Winters
Yeah,
are very dark and cold, definitely.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
summers are very short, 3 to 4
Short. Yeah.
months. Yeah,
Okay.
but it is hot, so we have air condition. I know people get surprised. So we have air condition running at full. So entire house, car, everywhere because it becomes hot. It's very hot. A few days are very, very hot, 35, 30. It goes like that. Most of the days are between 25 to 30 like that. So
Okay.
25, 27, 30, 32 like that.
And what are the
But
lowest temperatures goes in
oh,
Toronto?
lowest goes like minus 20, minus 30 is easy. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I've been minus 30. I think rarely, maybe once I remember only because I was taking my dog out. Only once I think I've experienced close to minus 40. But that was the ice storm also. So everything was turned to ice and we didn't even had a power. So
Okay.
so we had to pack our bags because we couldn't survive. We were shivering even with all the blankets. So I think at that time it was 2013 probably. I remember still that day. So we packed our bags with our dog and went to somebody else's house, one of our friends, and he had the electricity. So we went there because all the wires were also frozen that time. Ice,
Mhm.
like there were ice everywhere. You could even stop signs and signs on the road were all covered with ice like this. So it's good and bad experiences both.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but now we are used to it. So I won't complain. I mean, we enjoy snow also sometimes.
So how
But
many years in the Canada right now?
I'm completing about 16 years now here.
16 years. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, before that I was in the US, so it's been about 21 years. So uh,
Okay. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Isha. Really appreciate your time, and I will upload this thing and share the link with you next week on that. Yeah. Really appreciate your
okay,
time.
thank you.
Okay. See
Take
you.
care.
Thanks.
Yeah, see you.
Bye bye.
Bye.